Have you ever imagined coming home after an exhausting day at work only to discover that your internet has been cut off, not by the service provider, but by your own HOA neighbors? Well, that's exactly what happened to me last Tuesday, and what they didn't know is that their decision would become the biggest nightmare they've ever experienced. Stay until the end of this story because you won't believe the plot twist that happened when they discovered who I really am. My name is Marcus, and I've been living for 3 years in an apparently peaceful community called Sunset Gardens. I say apparently because the HOA president, a woman named Patricia, has always had a strange obsession with control. She's the type of person who measures neighbors' grass height with a ruler and considers anything outside the standard as a personal affront. During these 3 years, I always maintained a cordial relationship with everyone, paid my fees on time, followed all community rules, but apparently that wasn't enough for Patricia. The problem started when I installed my home office upstairs. Since I work with technology, I need a robust and reliable internet connection. That's why I contracted a business plan and installed professional equipment, including industrial routers and an external antenna to ensure the best possible connectivity. Everything licensed, everything legal, everything approved by the competent authorities. But Patricia had other plans. On a Monday morning, I received a formal notification from the HOA alleging that my internet equipment was causing electromagnetic interference in the community. According to her, other residents were complaining about excessive noise coming from my equipment. Excessive noise? We're talking about silent electronic equipment installed on my own roof. The notification gave me 48 hours to remove all equipment or face severe disciplinary measures. Obviously, I ignored this nonsense. My equipment was working perfectly, caused no interference whatsoever, and was installed on my private property. Besides, I had all the technical reports proving everything was within standards. Storytelling of neighborly conflicts. But Patricia wasn't kidding. The following Wednesday, I came home and found 3 uniformed men in my backyard. They identified themselves as technicians authorized by the HOA and were literally cutting my internet cables with industrial pliers. When I tried to intervene, one of them showed me a fake court order, claiming they had authorization to remove unauthorized equipment that poses a risk to community safety. Here's where the story gets interesting, folks. You'll want to pay attention to this part because this is when everything crumbles for the HOA. While these technicians destroyed my installation, I made some calls. The first was to my lawyer, the second to the police, and the third was to my legal department. You see, there's a small piece of information that Patricia and her crew didn't know about me. When I moved to the community, I never mentioned my profession in detail. I always said I work with technology and left it at that. What they didn't know is that I'm CEO and founder of NetConnect Solutions, the largest internet provider in the region. That's right, folks. They cut the internet of the guy who literally provides internet to half the city, including their own community. NetConnect has commercial contracts with over 200 communities in the region. And Sunset Gardens has been one of our corporate clients for more than 5 years. Not only that, but our company also provides connectivity services to the county courthouse, city hall, municipal hospital, and several other important public institutions in the city. The next morning, Patricia must have woken up thinking she had won a great battle. What a monumental mistake. At exactly 8 a.m., a team of 12 NetConnect technicians arrived at the community with professional equipment and began systematically disconnecting all fiber optic cables that feed Sunset Gardens. In 15 minutes, the entire community was without internet. But that was just the beginning. At 9 a.m., court officers arrived with a real court order, this time against the HOA for property damage, trespassing, document forgery, and interference with essential services. The initial fine was $12,000 plus $120 per day until the situation was completely resolved. At 10 a.m., Patricia received a call from our commercial department informing her that the community's internet service contract was being terminated immediately due to incompatibility with company values.
And here comes the best part. Since NetConnect has exclusivity in the region due to our fiber optic infrastructure, no other company can provide high-speed internet to that area.
What happened next was epic, folks. Within hours, my inbox exploded with apology requests from residents. They discovered their homes had instantly devalued because they could no longer work from home. Children couldn't attend online classes, and nobody could use streaming or any digital services. Patricia desperately tried to reverse the situation. She personally called our office, sent tearful emails, even showed up at the company reception begging for a meeting. The answer was always the same. NetConnect does not negotiate with organizations that demonstrate hostile and unethical behavior against its executives. The situation became so unsustainable that in less than a week, 78% of residents signed a petition demanding Patricia's immediate removal from the HOA presidency. She not only lost her position, but also had to personally bear all fines and legal costs, which reached nearly $48,000. Today, 6 months later, the community has much more sensible new management. We not only restored internet service, but also implemented a free upgrade to the entire infrastructure as a good neighbor gesture. My house continues with its professional equipment, now officially recognized as community technical patrimony, due to the benefits it brings to the entire community. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate the people around you. That quiet neighbor who always greets you politely might be exactly the person who has the power to turn your life into a living hell when unjustly provoked. Patricia learned this the hardest way possible. If you enjoyed this story of justice served cold, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you have your own stories of abusive HOAs, share them in the comments because I read them all and might make a video about them. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because every week we have new stories of people who thought they could step on others and discovered they messed with the wrong person. See you next time, folks.